The woman falls to her knees, trembling as she begs Qin Feng for forgiveness. Her voice shakes as she calls him brother, then quickly corrects herself, addressing him as Dad Qin Feng. Crying uncontrollably, she admits her mistakes and pleads for mercy. She swears to give him everything her life, her loyalty, and promises to serve him from now on. Qin Feng remains calm and composed, looking down at her. In a cold tone, he asks about the 5 foreigners who were seen with her earlier. Panicked, the woman hesitates before asking if he'll let her go if she tells him the truth. Her face twists in fear and desperation as she tries to please him. The woman lets out a sharp scream as her body collapses lifelessly on the floor. Qin Feng stands over her, his expression calm and composed. He looks down and mutters that the 5 foreigners she mentioned aren't here. A faint glow appears on his phone as a system message shows that he has gained 659 years of tradable lifespan. Qin Feng sighs lightly, disappointed that he couldn't catch all of them at once. He then instructs to use Qian Shiyun's phone to contact the authorities, ensuring the scene will be properly handled. Without hesitation, he turns and walks away, leaving her body behind. Under the moonlit sky, a large ship moves steadily across the ocean. The night is calm, but somewhere within that ship, danger and unfinished business are waiting for Qin Feng. Under the moonlit sky, flashing lights cut through the waves as police boats speed across the ocean. The calm night turns chaotic as sirens echo over the water. The authorities rush toward the yacht after receiving a report of a mass murder on board. One of the victims is identified as the daughter of the Qian Group's chairman, sending shockwaves through the department. The investigation team moves quickly, their faces tense with urgency. Based on the report, the killer's techniques closely resemble the Shadow's in-game abilities, giving them a clear lead on the suspect's identity. The officers exchange grim looks, realizing the magnitude of what they're dealing with. On one of the patrol boats, the lead investigator clenches his fist in anger, calling the Shadow's actions lawless and reckless. His voice rises with determination, declaring that such crimes are a direct challenge to the nation's authority. The rest of the team silently agrees, readying their weapons as they approach the crime scene. The commanding officer issues the final order once they confirm the killer's location. They are to open fire without hesitation and ensure the target is eliminated. Under the bright moon, the searchlights converge on the yacht, signaling the beginning of a high-stakes pursuit. At the crime scene, officers inspect the bodies under the harsh glow of searchlights. One reports that they found an unknown DNA sample in the victim's mouth, along with burn marks, clear signs of torture before death. The team's expressions darken, realizing the cruelty behind the act. The lead investigator curses the Shadow, furious not only for the killings, but for the humiliation inflicted on the victims. He then activates his special ability, Dying Wish, which allows him to trace the killer's location for 5 minutes by touching the corpse. As the power surges through him, energy radiates across the deck. His eyes glow with determination as he vows to bring the Shadow to justice. Suddenly, his expression changes. He's found something. His eyes widen as the signal spikes. In that instant, he yells a warning: the Shadow is here. The team immediately raises their weapons and opens fire toward the detected direction, unleashing their full power under the moonlit sky. The moment the investigator gives the command, the team opens fire. Bright green energy bullets streak through the air, lighting up the deck in flashes of deadly light. But before they can react, their attacks rebound violently. Several officers are struck down instantly, their bodies collapsing as chaos erupts among the ranks. The others freeze in shock as Captain Q falls lifelessly to the ground, his blood splattering across the floor. One of the surviving officers screams his name, realizing too late that the Shadow has already made his move. Standing calmly in the midst of the gunfire, a cold, silver-haired woman steps forward. Her eyes narrow as she faces the unseen enemy. She shouts at the Shadow, accusing him of killing an investigator and defying the nation's authority. Her hands glow with energy as she activates a shimmering barrier to block the oncoming attacks. The sound of gunfire continues to echo through the ship, but behind the protective shield, her expression remains firm and unshaken. The clash between law and power has officially begun. As the tension on the yacht settles, the remaining officers gather around the bodies. A calm but firm voice tells them not to panic. The investigators begin piecing together the clues left behind, analyzing the evidence retrieved from the scene. One officer reports their findings. There are clear signs of internal corruption. Captain Kyu had been secretly passing classified information to Kaien Shishi in exchange for personal gain. The officer explains that proof of their contact was found on both of their phones, confirming the betrayal. Captain Lin's expression hardens as she listens. She quickly realizes the depth of the conspiracy, calling Kyu Haeonan an insider who aided criminals from within the organization. But as she reviews the data, something unexpected catches her attention. Her eyes widen in shock. The files reveal that Kaien Shishi was actually Spade in the game, the same player tied to multiple criminal activities. She demands to see the evidence immediately, but one of her subordinates hesitates. Suspicion fills her face as she questions what could possibly be hidden from her view. Captain Lin opens the phone and freezes. The screen shows shocking images Kaien Shishi and Captain Kyu caught in an intimate moment. Her eyes widen in disbelief as she struggles to process what she's seeing. One of her subordinates quietly reminds her that he had warned her to wait before looking. Lin's shock quickly turns into anger and embarrassment. She questions what all of this means, realizing the depth of Kaien Shishi's deception. Her hands tighten around the phone as she scrolls through the data, uncovering message after message that confirm their secret connection. Her thoughts race. If Shadow was involved in this, then everything begins to make sense. Every move, every encounter in the game, and even the recent murders were all connected. Shadow's past actions were not random. They were part of a plan to expose the truth. It's revealed that Shadow's killing spree inside the game was meant to gain Kaien Shishi's trust. Once she believed in him, he found and eliminated her in the real world, then reported everything to the police, luring out and destroying Kyu Haeonan in the process. Captain Lin continues reviewing the evidence, her expression calm yet thoughtful. The revelations about Kaien Shishi and Kyu Haeonan have not only solved the ongoing investigation, but also cleared two major internal threats within the system. Shadow's actions, though ruthless, ended up helping the authorities achieve what they couldn't for months. As Lin reflects on this, one of her subordinates calls out, surprised to see her still focused on the report. She ignores the comment, quietly acknowledging Shadow's unexpected contribution. Though she had attacked him earlier, she realizes that his actions prevented further chaos. Looking out over the quiet scene, she admits to herself that even if Shadow bears a grudge, she hopes it won't lead to conflict with the officials. In a composed tone, she thanks him for his assistance, acknowledging that justice was served in an unconventional way. Before leaving, she holsters her weapon and pauses for a moment. Her eyes narrow as she mutters an apology, not out of guilt, but out of respect for a man who operates in the shadows yet serves a greater purpose. The tense silence breaks when a soldier yells out in shock, calling for Captain Lin. Everyone turns to see her kneeling on the floor, clutching her gun tightly as tears fall down her face. Her voice trembles as she whispers that her debt to Shadow has finally been repaid. She lowers her weapon and asks Shadow to continue cooperating with the authorities, her tone filled with regret and respect. The officers nearby watch in disbelief, unsure how to react. One of them quietly urges caution, reminding her that Shadow's true nature is unpredictable. High above them, Shadow stands calmly under the moonlight, watching the scene unfold. His figure glows faintly against the night sky as the wind whips around him. He mutters to himself, questioning whether Lin Qingyu, known as Captain Lin, would go so far as to shoot herself just to avoid becoming his enemy. As he turns away, his voice carries softly through the night. The narration closes with a single thought: this was the strength and composure expected of the future leader of Demon City. The city lies in ruins, buildings cracked and broken under the orange glow of the setting sun. The air is filled with dust and echoes of distant explosions. Among the debris, monstrous figures emerge, humanoid creatures with grotesque shapes advancing through the streets. At the center of the chaos, a warrior with a shield stands ready, facing down one of the approaching beasts. Behind him, a dark-haired mage named Zioyu raises her staff as a green light begins to form at its tip. The man shouts for her to heal him quickly as the monster closes in. Zioyu nods and casts her spell, but something goes wrong. The healing energy bursts unevenly, missing its target. The man stumbles forward, shouting in frustration that she messed up the healing again, calling her useless in the heat of battle. As the monster towers over them, Zioyu bites her lip and steadies her staff, determined not to fail again while the warrior braces himself for the next attack. The battle in the ruined city is far from over. The creature's body begins to glow with eerie green light as healing energy surges through its form. Its stitched flesh regenerates rapidly, and the air crackles with unnatural power. Zioyu's eyes widen in fear as she realizes her healing spell has unintentionally strengthened the monster instead of her ally. Before she can react, the creature lashes out. The impact sends Zioyu flying backward, her staff slipping from her hand as the world spins around her. Pain and confusion fill her eyes before everything fades into darkness. Moments later, her surroundings shift. The city returns to its calm state. Zioyu finds herself revived, standing beside her companion once more. She blinks in disbelief, murmuring that she must have died again, even though she didn't see anyone nearby. Her voice trembles as she realizes what this means. It wasn't a random attack. She clenches her fists, certain that this was the work of the shadow. Anger burns in her eyes as she questions why he keeps targeting her, wondering if he somehow knew she wanted to avenge her fallen brother, Song Fei. Zioyu's frustration quickly turns into confusion as her companion snaps at her. He scolds her harshly, calling her foolish for thinking the shadow had time to target someone like her. His voice rises as he explains that the real cause of their defeat was her own healing spell. It had accidentally triggered the monster's ability. He continues angrily, revealing that the creature responsible was the Platinum Boss, the headless assassin Xia Meng, a powerful enemy they had already encountered. He accuses her of not paying attention to the system alerts, his tone full of irritation. Zioyu lowers her head, holding back tears as he continues ranting. He curses that if he's ever assigned to the same team with her again, he'd rather end himself than repeat this nightmare. But before she can respond, a shadow looms over them. The ground shakes as the monstrous figure of Xia Meng appears once again, her glowing red eyes locking onto the trembling pair. Fear grips Zioyu as the man stares up in disbelief, realizing the boss has followed them into the real world. Without hesitation, he shouts for everyone to run.